Alright, so for this video, it's a 2004 Honda Accord. The anti-theft system was going off like crazy. So what I ended up doing is I disconnected the battery cable, the negative battery cable, just to get it to shut up. But in order to fix it, I ended up pulling out the fuse for the horn so it wasn't gonna go off on me. To this diagram, it was 20 right there, if you can see it. So I just pulled this fuse out. The reason that I disconnected that fuse for the horn was because whenever I would touch that battery cable back to the battery, the horn would just go off and it would not stop. So as I was testing things, I would just look to see, because the lights would flash and see like at the same time as the horn. And that way I knew the alarm was still going off, but I didn't annoy all of my neighbors while I was trying to fix it. So a week, well, probably like more like a couple months back, this key stopped unlocking and locking the car. And I thought nothing of it. I just kept using it, manually to unlock and lock it, because that car's really just kind of crappy and old now, but it gets me around. But what I think happened, just a couple days ago, I got out of the car, locked it like I usually do with the button on the door, and then it just started going crazy. Started honking, lights flashing, and I think what happened is the battery finally went out completely in here, and the car stopped recognizing that this is the key that is supposed to and designed to start the car. There's a little chip in here that the car recognizes. I just don't think it was getting any power whatsoever anymore because the battery died. So I will go ahead and take this apart and then show you what kind of battery you need to put in this. All right, so I went ahead and I took this screw. Sorry, it's gonna be really hard to get it to focus, but that screw took out with that little screwdriver. There's just one right there. So I took that out, and I'll get my little flathead screwdriver and I'll just kind of like pry up really gently on it. And that'll pop that off. And then if you just push on one of these buttons, that thing will just pop right out of there. And then what you're gonna have to do, there's little tabs. I don't know if you can see, but this tab right here, you just gotta get this underneath it and just kind of wiggle it up and over. Then you gotta do the same thing on this other side. I think mine's broken, but wiggle it up. Oh, come on. Boom. And then pops off and reveals the battery right there. Then what you'll do is you'll just pop that out. This is the new one that I've already replaced in it, but the old one looks like this. Let's flip it so you can read it. It's a CR1616 3-volt battery. I just went over to O'Reilly's this morning, picked up a new one, threw it in, and now it's got the power it needs to activate that little chip in there. So that's how you take that apart and replace the battery. All right, went ahead and put the screw back in. Now it's all back put together. Let's head back outside and see if we can't get her started up. But now let's put this fuse back. Shove it down gently. Okay, so now the horn should work again. Then we'll reconnect this back up and then try and start her up. Real quick, I forgot. Don't put that fuse back in until after you've started the car the first time, because as soon as you reconnect that battery cable, your alarm's gonna go off like crazy. So leave the fuse out until you start the car for the first time so that the alarm doesn't go off. I mean, unless you're fine with that, then go for it. But if you if you have neighbors that get annoyed easily, put in the fuse after you start the car. Now I'll take the key that I put the battery in, and now that sensor that's in there should pick up that it's the right key, because it's been sitting for a while in the cold. It kind of took a second, but you'll have to reset your clock, all that kind of stuff, but that should be how you get it to stop.